Okay, guys, what's going on? It's your boy Trolltech here. We are here for the final episode of The Boyfriend, the finale, the grand finale. This is like the end of an era. Like, obviously, we still have like the reunion and shit to do. Like, there's like 2 more videos that we're gonna react to, but like the show itself is complete after today. Um, I'm pretty sure like there's like 99.9% chance we're gonna get a season 2 anyway. Obviously different cast, but like we probably will return to this show eventually, maybe next year, like maybe the year after. I'm sure it's gonna get a season 2. Like the success of this 100% will get greenlit for a season 2. I think it's like I think it's like, at least in Australia, it's like top 10 most viewed shows streaming right now on Netflix. So surely it's going to get a season 2. But with this cast, it's our last episode. It's kind of like, I'm kind of low key sad because this is probably my favorite. This is like one of my favorite casts I've ever seen on any like reality show type thing I've ever watched. To be fair, I don't really watch reality shows, shit like this. Honestly, you know what got me into reality dating shows was the fact like that I found out it was an LGBT-esque dating show. That's how I got into His Man. And honestly, I can't watch. I don't like reality TV at all. I hate it. I hate it. But for some reason, there's something about LGBT reality shows that I just love so much. Because I watched His Man. I watched this. There's one more I watched. I think it was a Korean one. I just can't remember what it was called. It wasn't like a dating show, but it was like a reality TV thing. I can't remember what it was called though. But usually I hate reality TV, which is, it's funny that I enjoy this type so thoroughly. I feel like generally, maybe it's not even the LGBT-ness of it. It's like, I think it's Asian reality dating, not dating, but like reality shows they're a bit more tasteful, I feel like, than Western ones. Actually, you know what? As a teenager, there was one reality show I used to fucking love. And this is so embarrassing because I would never go back and watch it, but every night I would tune in every night, every single time it was on, to Jersey Shore. Oh my God, bro. I love Jersey Shore so much. And I don't know why. Like if I went back to watch it now as an adult, I'm like, what the fuck was I watching? But it was the most fun TV when I was like 12, 13, 14. I don't know what, I think it was just so messy that I was just like glued to the TV. Anyway, but yeah, generally my thing is I don't like reality TV, but I guess like Asian reality TV is so different, I feel like, to what you get from like a Western reality TV is like constant drama. Everyone's a bad person. Everyone's terrible. Where I feel like so far with the Asian reality TV I've seen, the people just feel like normal people. You know, like, because the shows they get for like reality TV in the West, in like America and shit, it's like so over the top, selfish piece of shit people. You know what I mean? Where the Asian reality dating shows and stuff like that they're like just normal humans that were just like pulled off the street, like, oh, you want to be part of this show type shit. Like obviously sometimes there's toxic people even in Asian reality shows, but like generally even when they're toxic, they feel like normal toxic. But then you go to like the Western ones and they're just so over the top terrible human beings, and you're just like, how are you a real person? You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. So anyway, that was I ranted on. I didn't really rant, but you know what I mean. Okay, I actually want to talk about something before we get into this episode. So as I was watching the last episode, I guess I wasn't really focusing on what like Ikuo's actions in that. Like I did get frustrated with him and stuff, but I didn't really talk too much about when he confessed to Dai, and like, because I talked about Dai's response and why he said he was confused, but I didn't really talk about what I thought about what Ikuo was doing there. So I wanted to talk about that before we get into this next episode, because a lot of people were commenting about it and stuff, and were saying like, it was very shady the way he confessed and stuff like that. And And I've seen people like defending him and saying like he was just saying his emotions. So I want to put where I'm in, like what my headspace is, because when I was reacting to it, I didn't really pay attention to it so much. So I rewatched the episode, like on my own, episode 9. I rewatched it, and I was just looking at everything he did in that episode, just to see like where do I stand on that topic. And I'm gonna say, I stand with the people that were saying his actions were shady as shit. And I'll tell you why. Because at first, when I first watched it, his confession was like out of left pocket almost, but out of left field. But then I was like, but I didn't put too much attention onto it. I was like, oh, okay, it is what it is. And then I was rewatching everything that happened in that episode, and it just seems so fucking shady what he was doing. Because like, confessing is one thing. That's fine. Okay. Because you're going to confess your feelings. If you feel them, you're going to confess them. That's the point of the show. But there's 3 major red flags in this confession or just in the whole scenario that really kind of got my blinkers being like, oh, that's a red flag. So number 1 was obviously including himself in the argument or conflict between Dai and Shun, right? Because it's one thing to include yourself in a conflict where it's two of your friends and you want the best for both of them. That's one thing. But it's a second thing to include yourself in a conflict when you are interested romantically in one of the members of that conflict, because that's a whole other message, right? So that was the first red flag in my head. I was like, ooh, okay. Second red flag was obviously Ikuo's like small shady comments here and there since he entered the house towards Shun. Like even before this episode, like since he entered this house, he's had like small comments here and there about Shun where he's like clearly doesn't like this guy, right? He clearly doesn't like it. And so to add to that point, and so he clearly has this negativity towards Shun, but the way he came towards Shun with this kind of, I was rewatching this like fake friendliness. He's like, oh, I want to do what's best for you type shit. And I was looking at it. It just seems so fake to me. That was number 2. That was second red flag. Third red flag is the confession itself, right? Because if you confess to someone, that's fine, right? Because, you're going to confess to people. That's just what it is. That's the show. I can, like, objectively, I could look at the confession and be like, I feel uncomfortable with the fact that you chose to confess when they've kind of figured everything out and they're a couple. Like, that's a bit, it's kind of a red flag, but even then, I'm just like, okay, whatever. They didn't outright say that they're a couple at this point, even though you should be able to read the room and be like, they are a couple at this point. But I'll even give that a pass, because it's like, at the end of the day, even if they are a couple, or if they've, established that, maybe you just wanted to reveal your feelings, whatever, that's fine. But there's a couple of red flags in his confession, and it's not just 1 or 2 things, right? It's like 2 or 3 things in that confession that really got a lot of red flags. Number 1, okay, you've supposedly apologized for including yourself in the Shun Dai thing and messing shit up, but then straight after that, you're trying to mess it up again by confessing. That's number 1 red flag. Like, confessing itself is not bad, but there's the action before your confession, it kind of negates your apology. You know what I mean? Like, if you apologize for that, fucking that up, and then you are confessing trying to fuck it up again, that's a red flag. Even that it's a red flag, but it's like something you can explain. Second thing is, in your confession, talking shit about Shun is a big red flag. Because, like, okay, if you're confessing, that's fine. But while you're confessing, you're talking shit like, oh, I'm better for you. I'll take care of you. Like, Shun hurts your feelings. I'll never hurt you. That type of shit, right? Like, your comparisons are being made and you're putting this other person down. That's shady as fuck. Right? That's the second red flag. And then the third red flag is, again, this, so how do I explain it? So he did the same thing with Kazu, where he said, do you mind if I like you, or whatever it was? Because he said, the subtitle said love you, but I think it's like a translation error. It's like, do you mind if I like you? again, the way he confesses, like I forget what he says at the end, but he says something to that effect to Dai as well. And he's putting more pressure on the other person. Again, like, you know, when you're confessing to someone and you're pretty sure it's not reciprocated and that person already has their own interest in someone else, the way you do it is how Usak did it or how Gensei did it, right? You're not adding pressure onto the other person, right? You're just saying, these are my feelings and, you know, do with those feelings what you will. Ikuo, on the other hand, is constantly trying to pressure the other person, like, oh, do you mind if I do this? Or, you know, accept my feelings, or what, you know, whatever it might be. He's adding pressure onto the person. And he's putting all of the thing onto that other person. You know what I mean? Like, he's forcing his emotions on the other person. So those are the 3 red flags. So all I'm saying to you guys, bro, right now, where I am at, I do not like this motherfucker. I'm sorry to any Ikuo fans. I do, like, you know how accepting and thing I've been with every member. Like, I've seen where they've come from. I've understood what they're doing. But Ikuo is the only one of the, like, I've been really looking at his actions since he came in, and he's just continuously made decisions in bad faith. You know what I mean? And he's said things in bad faith. Because, like, even when Shun or someone else did something a bit questionable, I say Shun because, you know, Shun had the most moments. But even when someone else did stuff questionable, like when I was a bit annoyed with Alan in like episode 5 or 6, I can't remember what it was. Or even when, you know, they were doing questionable things, I was just like, I can understand where he's come. He's come from a good place. I understand that. Ikuo, I can't see him coming from a good place. Everything seems mean-spirited. You know what I mean? Like, every decision and word he makes seems to come from like a bad place. You know what I mean? Like, as I like rewatch some of the episodes that that involved Ikuo's like moments, and I'm just like, everything comes from, you know, it doesn't come from a good spot. That's what I've noticed as I rewatched episode 9 specifically. Because at first, when I watched episode 9, I was like, you know what? He had good intentions. But then I was looking back and I'm like, did he though? Because if he confessed in a way that wasn't like, you know, damaging Shun or, you know, talking shit about Shun, then I could still be in the headspace of like, oh, he's coming from a good place. He just didn't execute it correctly. But the way he confessed to Dai made his previous actions by, you know, injecting himself into the Shun Dai situation, it made his intentions clear. It wasn't, oh, he's coming from a good place, but it just didn't work out. Now it reads as he was coming from a bad place in the first place. You know what I mean? Anyway, sorry for that long rant about Ikuo. It's been like 14 minutes and we haven't even gone into the reaction yet. But my point is, I'm not a fan of the way he is doing things. Now, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give him some time to reconsider his actions and hopefully like realize he's being a cunt right now. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So without any further ado, let's get into episode 10, the finale of The Boyfriend. Here we go. Let's see. How's Dai going to respond to this situation? Almost.
なんかIkuoがどうのこうのっていうよりも僕の中でShunが
Yes, Dai. That's what I like to see, mother. I knew he was going to say this, right? The way they cut it in the last episode was like as if Dai was like not sure about what he was going to decide. But let's be honest, bro. Dai is head over heels for Shun at this point. I think Shun reciprocates that, but you can't, like, he's trying to convince himself that he's not deeply fucking fallen for Dai because he's a cat, you know? But yeah, this is like, I knew there was no chance for any like Dai being like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll pick Ikuo. No, he's not even an option. Like at this point. Bro, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know why. I've just got this like, I've genuinely got this disdain for Ikuo right now. like everything now. I'm trying to be as objective as possible with his actions, and I'm trying to forget about how kind of, you know, two-faced he was. But bro, I've got this, like, because the thing with me, as soon as I dislike someone, it's done. Like, I can't like that person again. It's like very rare that people can change my mind about them. You know, and if, like, the thing is, if someone can change my mind about them, then that opinion is now, like, let's say I don't like someone when I first meet them, and then somehow my opinion of them changes, and I'm like, oh, you know, this is actually a cool dude. Then my opinion from, oh, he's actually a cool dude now, probably won't change. You know, if my opinion gets changed once, then it's done. So like with Ikuo, I was like, oh, he's pretty cool. But then my opinion changed, and I'm like, no, he's being two-faced as shit. So I don't think my opinion's going to change no matter what he says from this point on. That's the issue now. Because like usually in my personal life, I'm very cut and dry with, like, if I like someone, I like them. If I hate someone, I hate. It's like done, you know?
おはようございます。グリーンルームでの共同生活は残り3日です。
Okay, so they just got like a weekend,
本日のシフト
basically.
にはカズトさんに入っていただきます。カズトさんは一緒に働きたい人を一人選んでください。
Like, this has nothing to do with the plot of this, but like the funniest thing about this fucking show is the fact that Kazuto worked a 9 to 5, 7 days a week fucking job for an entire month where he was supposed to just chill, basically.
一人。
もう時間
Like he thought he was gonna get some days off from the kitchen, but no, he was just in the kitchen still making coffees.
との旅の後の気持ちはちょっとまだわかんないか
カズトのエゴをもっと見たい。
Like, actually, this is also completely doesn't have anything to do with what's going on. But since Kazuto has been wearing the glasses and kind of has been having like these bit more nerdier fits, I'm low key like crushing on him now. I get it, boys. I finally get it, because for the longest, like, don't get me wrong, Kazuto's always been a handsome dude, but I've just been like, what is about this guy that they like so? But I get it now with the glasses. I get it.
りょうたのランチ。
いやあれもう説明ない。こっちのストーリー。
Cause like that'd be my weakness. Like if I was in this house, like whoever like made food, lunch and shit for me and stuff, that's probably where my attention would go. I'm gonna be straight up. I'm a classic dude when it comes to affection, like things that win my affection. Like, you know, the meme was like, the way to a man's heart is through his, like that, through his stomach. That is very much true for me. So that's the secret, honestly. That's the secret sauce.
目線じゃない方がいい。カメラ目線でちょっとぶりっ子みたいな。
Nah, not the K-pop idol cutesy shit.
なんだよ。どっか通っちゃった。ごめん。こんにちは。
Oh, it's like Polaroid camera.
ドリップとかヘラテでありがとうございます。
I remember I had one of those, like, or actually my sister did when I was like much younger. Because she was like in like photography, so she had like the full like proper Polaroid camera. And bro, I would I would steal it, and I would always get, my sister would always give me a hiding every time. She's like, where's my camera? But whatever. But I would steal the camera and I would just take a picture of everything. Cause I was a typical 90s, early 2000s kids where I was in the house, I'm going to say 2% of the time. Like most of the time I was in the streets like a hooligan. And I would just take a picture of everything. Like I love that shit. That's probably where my like love of like photography / film first began, was just having those Polaroid cameras at like 7, 8 years old, just taking pictures of fucking like bugs and ants, and just like I was a typical feral outside kid, like classic 90s, early 2000s kid.
腹減った。りょうたのご飯楽しみだ。りょうたのご飯。うまい。
Okay, toasted tuna sandwiches.
りょうたは本当優しい。
Well, they're barely toasted, but Because to me, look, bread's either got to be hot, like bread's either got to be soft as shit, so it's just like non-toasted bread, or it's got to be toasted so it's so crunchy. Like, you know what I mean? To me, having toast that's like semi-toasted but still kind of soft is like having food that's like kind of cold but kind of hot. You know, just that disgusting, like, it's got to be one or the other, bro. Make your choice. I'm very passionate about the toastedness of bread is my thing.
難しかった。
難しかった。
何がアート
Ooh, yeah, what's going on, Kazu?
しまうか。
スマホへスマホ。
The thing is, bro, Kazu just needs to tell them already. Look, this. I'm sorry, I can't do romance with anyone. Like, I'm sorry. He just needs to be upfront at this point. Like, I understand. Don't get me wrong. I understand Kazu's perspective because he's a bit like. He doesn't want to hurt their feelings, but he's also confused, and I get it. But at this point, he basically knows it's not happening with anyone. And I guess he's still trying to give them time, and he's trying to be nice in his own way. But like, it's almost cruel as well because he's just like kind of dragging them along. And I know he's not leading them on purpose or anything, but that's kind of what's inadvertently happening. And I know maybe he's confused with his own feelings, so he can't really make that decision at this point. But I feel like there's a certain point you just got to be like, look, this is what it is. Because even though I feel like right now, Kazu's just confused in he's confused, but he knows at the like, okay, this is what I mean. I feel like Kazu is kind of, he knows that he's not going to be romantically interested in either of them, but he's also like, oh, maybe if I give them more time, I'll start to get feelings for them. Like, that's where he's at right now. And I feel like he's trying to trick himself, which inadvertently leads to him leading both Ryota and Alan on in a way, which he's not doing on purpose, obviously, but that's what's happening at this point. So he just needs to figure that shit out and be like, look, this is what it is.
こうずっと一緒にいたいなって思うタイプだけど、そう思うまでが結構時間かかることが今までも多かったから。
Right.
このグリーンルームの生活。
See, the thing with Kazu is that, how do I say it? He seems to be, I feel like like he was saying basically what he was saying. He's like, he seems to be a guy that once he falls like deep. So it's like up until that point, he's very analytical about it and he's very logical about it. And he's like, okay, how do I feel? Am I actually obsessed with this person? Do I actually want to be with them? Like he's like very meticulous with making that decision. Because once he makes it, it's like, he's gonna be like blinded, you know, by the concept of love and the romance of it, I feel like. So that's why I feel he wants to be so like, I think he wants to be even more sure than like when Shun is trying to figure shit out. Cause like with Shun, even though it took him a while to kind of consider his feelings about it and figure shit out, I think his thing with Dai started, like admitting that he liked Dai started pretty early. Like I'm going to say maybe a couple of days after they met and they were in the greenhouse. Maybe by like episode 2 or 3, he knew he liked Dai. You know what I mean? So I feel like Kazu's even closer. I mean, even more questioning and like tests like the boundaries of like how he feels for someone more than even Shun, honestly. I feel like people look at when they're thinking of, oh, who's the hardest to understand in the green room? Everyone I think is looking towards Shun just because he's so dramatic and loud about his unsureness and like testing his partner. But I think the hardest to understand and the most, I guess, emotionally fickle maybe is Kazu, honestly. And not in a bad way. It's just he seems to be very careful with who he chooses.
あら、ちょっと複雑になってしまいましたけどね。
あんまりねなんか不安そうな顔見せることってないですけど、最後ちょっと心配な感じ。
初めてああいう表情見ましたけどね。しかも数とかこれを
You
言うって
could
ことは
tell he was you could tell he was kind of heartbroken as well, like, or like he was feeling emotional. Even in the scene when they were talking, you could see his eyes tearing up and shit. So yeah, I think that was basically as a rejection, or as much as Kazu is able to reject someone, that felt like a rejection to me. Because he still said, I'm undecided. He didn't say, oh, we'll figure this out, or I'll give you an answer later. He didn't say anything like that. He just said, oh, I'm still undecided and uncertain. So I feel like that was as much of a rejection as you're going to get from Kazu. I'm going to be straight up about that.
聞こえて
に働きたい人を一人選んでください。一人
Guys, I wonder who he's gonna pick. Imagine he doesn't pick Dai, and it's just like such a meme. What if he picks like, boy, what if he picks like Ikuo and they have a punch on? Bro, I want to see. I'm such a hater. I'm such a Ikuo. I'm sorry to the Ikuo fans. I'm sorry to Ikuo himself. I'm sorry, bro. I'm a hater to the day I die now. What I want to see, I want Shun and Ikuo to go and then have a punch on that, and I want to see Shun knock him out, please. No, I'm joking. Am I joking? I don't know. I'm kind of joking, but I'm kind of not joking at the same time. Because like I'm gonna be honest, if I was in a relationship, right, and there was someone like Ikuo trying to inject themselves in like he did, we're fighting. We are fighting, bro. What do you mean? Bro, is it that hard to make the decision? Okay, he picked Dai. Like, I was pretty sure he's gonna pick Dai anyway. It's like,
大だね。
obviously.
ああいう時いい顔すんな、大。
大って本当表情豊か魅力的。
Okay. Bro, Shun, just smile, bro. Well, you don't have to hide it. We know how much you are a simp for this, but just smile, brother.
最後か。なんか変わったここに来て自分のなんか、まあ、価値観みたいなのは、その柔軟にはなるよね。なった？その偏見で入って。
Yeah, I think, you know, like, I feel like a lot of people might watch this and think, oh, Shun hasn't changed from day one. But honestly, if we look at Shun here to Shun episode 1, man, it's a wildly different person. And because like, I feel like Shun's not easy to judge because he's so stone-faced and stuff. But think of like Shun was immovable from his position in episode 1. Now he knows, okay, look, to be able to connect with other people, I need to be able to compromise, right? But like he's in this interesting middle ground where he still doesn't compromise his values and his beliefs and the way he views the world, which is very important. But he compromises his behaviors to try to understand other people's kind of viewpoint now. I feel like way more than he did. But yeah.
すっごい良かったのかも。
最後だよ。やばくない？あと2
Like Shun's really interesting because like because like Shun's interesting in this way because he's clearly an introverted dude, right? We know that, but like it's clear that maybe his friends like in the real world are probably maybe also his friend group is also introverted. And the reason I say, and I don't know if that's the fact, but I don't know, that's just the vibe I get from him. Or maybe they're not introverted, but maybe his friend group is more chill, like kind of low, like, you know, just chill energy type vibes. And the reason I say that is because early Shun, early episodes, he was very like overwhelmed by high energy and you know, just that extroverted vibe that people have. Basically, that was the biggest problem with Dai and his dynamic, right? Which is interesting to me because as a fellow introvert, I know I don't seem that because I yap like a fucking yapomanic machine on these reactions. But as someone that's introverted IRL and is pretty reserved, all my friends, like most of my friends are just extroverted, high energy, loud, you know, So I feel comfortable in that energy. So, but like when I'm with other introverted people, I get more overwhelmed personally. Like I have the opposite problem. So it's really interesting is my thing. Bro, tell me why I want, I don't know, this just entered my brain. I want there to be a slice of life anime where it's just 7 or 8 gay men making coffee in a truck and just having moments of that dynamic throughout the show. Bro, tell me that wouldn't be an amazing show. Bro, that would be such a good show, but someone make it right now. I need to take these to animation studios immediately. Okay, Ryota. I see you now. Ryota cleaning up. Look at him. Let's see their fits. Oosh. Okay, let's see. Best fits. Let's rank the fits. Okay. A 1 to 9. We got 3, 7 members. So 1 to 7, I'm gonna rank the fits. Number 1, I'm gonna give Ryota absolute clean because you got some original. No, that's a clean fit. Number 2, I'm gonna give to Taeyeon just because it's got some originality. Got like a little handkerchief. It looks like a rich. He looks like a rich politician that's secretly like a mafia boss. Number 3, I'm gonna give it to Shun just because it's really clean. Number 4, I'm gonna give to. Oh, I reckon 4 is ranked Kazuto or Alan just because it looks clean. And then I will give 6. No, the next one will be Dai. It looks all right. It looks a bit mismatched though. Like it feels like it doesn't fit on his body perfectly. And then Ikuo looks like a child wearing a suit. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Alan, bro, I don't know what. Like, there's this weird thing happening because, like, in the first couple of episodes, I didn't mind Alan, but I was just like, hey, whatever. But I don't know. As it's progressed, I don't know. His personality is just so funny. I've actually like slowly really started liking him over time. Like a lot of the guys that I like in the house that I really like, I liked him pretty early on, but Alan was just like a slow burn, and now he's just like one of my favorite. See, Ryota, you were about to have the perfect fit and outside fit, but why'd you do your hair like you're fucking alfalfa or some shit? Please, bro. Like, the thing with Ryota, he either, like, his hair's either, like, look, with Ryota, there's always one thing about him that makes him look like a total fucking nerd. I don't know, like it's either his hair is fine, but then the fit he's wearing makes him look like the biggest nerd in history, or that his fit is insane, and then his hair makes him look like alfalfa or some shit. If you don't know who alfalfa is, just Google him. Use Google. Sorry. As soon as I saw a werewolf, as soon as I saw a full moon, I had a bunch of werewolf jokes just fucking lined up. But don't worry about it.
大人になってからのこの本当に夏休みじゃないけど、それぞれまあバックグラウンドが近しいけど違ってたりして、まあ年齢も違ってたり、こういうコミュニティってやっぱりあまりないじゃないですか。
I feel like the ages are different, but they're kind of in the same range still. You know what I mean? Like the youngest is 22 and then the oldest is 34. So it's like, yeah, they're different ages, but they're in the same kind of range. You know what I mean? Like, obviously 22-year-old, 34-year-old is completely different. But like, for example, I'm 28 years old, right? My brother's 7 years older than me. And so he's like 34. Yeah, 34. But we feel like the same age, like when we're having a conversation now. So like, it's been like that since I was like 24, 25, like with my brother, even though there's 7 years between us. It's like we're the same age. Like yeah, there's slight things that changed throughout those years, but I feel like 25 to like 35, there's experiences definitely that you grow as a person. But like if you're like 25 talking to a 35-year-old, it doesn't feel like that person's crazy older than you. It feels like, oh yeah, you're a couple of years older than me type vibes. So I feel like generally they're in the same age range. So yes, but no, is my point.
私からこの絵を出ます。でみんなに伝えたいことは。
Oh, so they're not all leaving at the same time. So we're going to each get a goodbye individually for all of them. Imagine being the last person and you're just like, I guess I go home now.
はできなかったけど、でもそれ答えが見えてきたっていうか、私は8人の仲間がいるから家族に会いに行って胸張って堂々と。
Because he's got like a support network now. You know what I mean? That's what I always say. Support networks are so important because like, especially if someone, if you're like in the LGBT community and having that support base that you know is going to like be able to, I guess, catch you if shit goes wrong is so important. Because now, like, I feel like that's where the confidence comes from, right? It's like, okay, if I tell my parents and they react very negatively, I have these 8 people that are on my side, right? Like that's, I think is so important. Just not even just in this position, just in general, like having a support system, man, is the most important thing, I think, to be able to function confidently in the world. That's why like people with, you know, dysfunctional households usually, especially in their youth, they have like a lot of anxieties and insecurities and so on and so forth. When you go to people that have perfect family lives, like, you know, their dad's in their life, their mum's in their life, their mum and dad are supportive and this and that. And they usually have supreme confidence that they just, they have the audacity to do anything, you know, because they've had that amazing support system. I think that's like, it's so, it shifts your behavior so much to have that. It's like crazy. No, because like if Taeyeon starts crying, then the entire house breaks. Because I feel like Taeyeon has been the strength for everyone, like emotionally. Like he's been so emotionally strong in comparison to everyone else, especially because like I feel like he was a lot of the time outside of the romantic stuff. So he could view everything very calmly and logically. So him finally breaking down, I feel like it's like the catalyst to everyone cry. Watch everyone cry now. Everyone was already crying, but. See, even Shun crying. See, I'm telling you. You know what the worst thing about these shows is the exorbitant amount of money I'm about to spend because of all the fits that I've seen here, and I'm being like, okay, I need to get some jumpers and shit similar to this. That's the worst, because I remember when I watched His Man, I think season 2 it was, I spent like $500 when I went shopping because I was like, fuck, those are some good fits. So that's the worst thing about these shows. Bro, the height difference is crazy. I'm sorry. I still got beef with Ikuo. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Honestly, low-key, I actually didn't think about this. I didn't think about this, but I feel like low-key Taeyeon and Shun are like kind of besties. Like low-key, because you don't really see them interact much because of the way it's cut. But like, I think even the conversation that Shun has with Taeyeon, like it's interesting that Taeyeon has that conversation with Shun. Like you'd think Shun might have had that conversation with like Ryota or Gensei, like the guys that he was hanging out with a bit more, right? But he chooses to have it with Taeyeon. So I feel like they have like a big bro, little bro relationship that they didn't really show on the show. That's the vibe I'm getting, because think about it, this is the first time we've seen Shun actually cry and be actually like emotionally really distraught. So I find that interesting. I feel like they have a big bro, little bro relationship. Bro, you know what the most like unbelievable fucking thing about this show is? Like the fact that they can come into a house with one suitcase for an entire month is a lie. Unless the suitcase is like the fucking TARDIS or some shit and it's bigger on the inside. Because how are you telling me you have clothes for a month in something that small? Like if I would go somewhere for a week and I'd probably have something like that. What are you talking about, bro? What, a month? That many clothes? I mean, like for that small? That's crazy. It's such a small space.
ありがとう、手本。大人になってこんなみんなの前で泣くことってあんま
Because
ない
I'm thinking, right? I like on average, I get changed twice a day, right? You change like your clothes, or maybe not your clothes. Maybe you keep the same t-shirt on, but or same pants or something. But I usually change my t-shirt, underwear twice a day, right? So 1 week, that's like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Let's say that's like 15, 16 pairs of whatever. No, it's not. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 14. Okay, it's 14 pairs a week. So you need like 40 pairs, I guess, on average. And maybe I'm a bit too much of a clean freak when it comes to clothes though, because like a lot of people just wear the same clothes throughout the whole day. But I change twice a day.
ありがとうございます。
ありがとう。
頑張ろう。
一緒に頑張ろう。
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I just don't like this guy. I just don't like him. I just don't like even with the things he's saying. I don't know, man. I just don't like. I'm sorry. After the last episode, it was just such toxic behavior. I do not like you. And even this seems even him saying this seems insincere to me. You know what I mean? Like even this seems insincere. Even if he's being sincere, because I've already got this opinion on him now, and I can't change it. I'm sorry.
最後の最後まで行こうだった。
うん、しっかりこうだった。
They didn't show Shun's face on purpose because I'm telling you, Shun probably didn't like Shun could probably sense his energy towards him anyway. So I'm pretty sure Shun probably returned his dislike. Like Shun's better than me because I would have punched on. Fucking Shun and Dai just glued at the hip right now.
話したいと思うんで、ちょっと。
This is his last attempt. This is his last ever attempt, I feel. Bro, why is Ryota dressed like the Hamburglar right now? I've been just burying him with his fashion today. I'm sorry.
一緒には出れないか。
ありがとう。他にも受け止めてくれて。
Look, I know this is supposed to be sad, and I get it, but like, I love what's happened here. Because, look, that sounds so mean. That's not what I mean. Like, I feel sorry for Ryota, obviously, because he got rejected. But what I mean when I love what's happened here is Kazu has like grown leaps and bounds. He's finally actually saying what he feels, and this is where I'm at. This is the boundary. This is what I'm sorry. I can't accept your feelings. Whatever. He says it outright because so far he's always kind of what's the word? I'm sure there's another word for it, but the only word I can think about, he's been pussyfooting around the rejections and because he's been trying to be nice and he's trying to be considerate, and so he's been trying to kind of spare people's feelings. But here he's finally been like, yes, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but I need to also be honest with myself and the people around me. So I like the growth in his as a person. And Ryota is very like mature about it as well. He's like, I get it. Like, I feel like Rota basically knew anyway. He just wanted to kind of put a full stop to it, you know, kind of fully finish that in his head. See, this guy's bag, like Ryota's baggage. Okay, sorry, I know you're crying, but I was going to say something, Ryota. You interrupted me. Ryota's baggage, suitcases, is much more realistic. He's got like 3 bags in his hand. He's got the suitcase. He's got a backpack. Like that's way more realistic. Sorry, I don't know why I'm so concerned with these suitcases. Yeah, like you did everything you possibly could because like you tried everything. Honestly, personality wise and just like the values wise, I probably, as a person, I respect Ryota like the most. Because like number one, he doesn't force, like there was one time where he kind of pushed Kazu a bit, but generally he doesn't force his emotions on others. He's concise, clear with his emotions and what he's feeling. And he doesn't expect a certain response from his feelings. He just wants his feelings to be known to everyone and everyone can respond accordingly to that. So as a person, I definitely like Ryota's like definitely up there for me as the ones that I respect the most. Yeah, I generally feel like when it comes to my respect meter, because like respecting someone versus liking someone is 2 different things, right? Like if I was to say who I like the most in the house, it's probably Shun just because he's so funny and memey. But respect wise, I still respect Shun in his own way, but like respect wise, he's probably not, I don't like out of all of them, he's probably not like the top echelon of the ones that I respect. I still respect him, don't get me wrong. But it's like liking someone and respecting someone's different. Like I think like the top 3 guys I really respect in this house is Ryota, Taehyun, and Dai. I think those top 3, those respect wise, that's probably those guys. And then he might change for the ones I like and respect all of them, don't get me wrong, but the tiers are different, I feel. Interesting that Alan and Kazu are the only ones left now because they've kind of had like a thing, like whether it's obviously not romantic at this point, but they've been very close this whole time. Oh, they just straight up left. I thought they were going to have a conversation about something. Okay, no, they are. Okay, I was like, what the fuck? I thought they just left and that was it. That would have been a weird ending for the 2 main characters if they just disappeared without anything.
懐かしいね本当に同じ変な思いしたくない
At least he's being upfront honest now. I like this.
言ってあげるみたいな嫌で、でそこで
That's fair.
友達戻ろうって言ったね普通の関係になろうみたいななろうって言われた
He definitely could have like I still say he could have done that in a better way, fully for sure, but like it was pretty obvious what he was doing there, you know, like I don't know, the way people read that I want to be friends, and even I read that like that for the first couple of episodes after, you know, like why would you say that if you're still into him type shit. I remember saying that, but then like in hindsight when you actually think about it, like it's like something that makes sense that he said it like that. Because if you look at the context of what they were going through, I think even Dai understood that, right? To a level. It's like, this isn't him ending it. It was just him kind of maybe taking a step back. That's what it felt like. As I go back to that and looking at everything that happened after, I think even Dai knew that. Because like Dai was never like, oh, but he said he wants to be friends. Like he never had that little idea. So I feel like he understood what Shun was saying there. So when you're watching that the first time, it might frustrate a lot of people. Like, why are you jealous if you said we just want to be friends? But it makes sense if you think about it. Obviously, he could have worded it in a better way, and he could have been more open about his communications. But it's still like, yeah, I get it. And that might just be because I'm a Shun defender to the day I die. I could just have a massive bias there, but it is what it is.
今日まで迷っててどんな関係で終わるの
What's this Studio Ghibli music playing right now? Nah, but yeah, that's basically what I was saying in, I think episode 8 it was, where Shun's whole thing was literally just him testing it. Like, because it's fair, because I know people wanted Shun to be perfect and just as much as like open and accepting as Dai was, but like, let's say you're in this situation, right? You meet this guy, you just have a month together and like, yeah, you just like each other, but you don't know anything about him really. You don't know how he's going to respond to you when you're in a bad mood or when you're on your bad days. You know, like you need to test that. Like, honestly, I'm a defender on Shun's like testing the boundaries. I defend that fully. Because it's like if Shun was all sunshines and rainbows and was so, you know, accepting for everything and didn't ever try to test the boundaries, and then one day he's in a bad spot and then Dai responds in a way where it's not like he doesn't take him seriously or he's not supportive, then it's just like, oh, I wasted all this time now. You know what I mean? So it's very acceptable to behave how Shun did. And obviously there was moments where Shun could have communicated better, obviously. But generally, the intent that he had was not bad at all. And it's 100% makes sense. Honestly, in my opinion, everyone should have really tested and responded and kind of tested the waters in the way that Shun did. I think that's a healthy way to get into a relationship, which makes sense that these two are the only ones that got into found, you know, romance in the house because they kind of took it really seriously. Oh, he's going full in. Okay, simp. Fucking simp. Simp for clock, bro. I was saying this, right? Like, so I paused. Let them confess their love, then I'll say this. Okay, let me say it now. Okay, I was saying this, bro, from day one. I'm like, Shun is either all or nothing, right? That's why he was so hesitant the whole time. Because once he decides, it's like, I'm in love with this person. It's game's finished. It's over with at that point. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Like his first like profession of affection was I love you. It wasn't like, oh, I have feelings for you. Oh, there it is. Like just some weak shit. No, it was like, no, this is a thing. I'm in love with you. Telling someone you're in love with him in a month in is kind of crazy. But to be fair, they spent like 24 hours a day, like with 24/7 with each other. So it's like different to just dating someone for a month. You know what I mean? Like they spent the equivalent of probably like 4 or 5 months together within 1 month. So it makes sense. Just smile. Okay, there we go, Shun. There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Shun going in for the kiss again. Not blushing. Not blushing, Shun.
ないシュート決めてくんのよ。
あんだけもうだだっこみたいにすねたりごねたりした子が最後好きっていうあのパンチ力すごい。
Yeah, yeah, like that's what I was saying. Like because Shun is so sparing with his like affection and the things he does, it's like when they happen, the impact is triple than what would happen to someone that's always always professing their love and shit. Like obviously it's good to be affectionate pretty regularly, but like in those first stages, if you're just affectionate all the time, bro, you can't like it doesn't. There's no impact.
アランのこといろんなとこ行ったりとか。
Okay, I wasn't. I'm gonna be straight up. Was not expecting this. I don't know what it is. I still can't get that. Like even potential romance vibe between these. These two just feel like besties, low key. Like I don't know, man. I know Kazuto's like, oh, we'll try this, but I don't know. It just feels like this is not doomed. I mean, this is not going to be a romance eventually. I don't know. It's just the energy, bro. Okay, I don't know, man. Maybe there is a romantic vibe. I don't know with these guys right now. These two confuse me. I'm gonna be straight up. Because there's like, they have this indescribable vibe where, you know, when you're walking on the street and like, usually you can tell who's like, even it, because like, I feel like Koreans and and Japanese people sometimes with their friends, they're like very physically affectionate. So like if you're walking on a street, right, and you see two, let's say there's two guys here hugging and shit and two guys here hugging and shit on the left and right. Like even then with the hugs, you can tell usually what's more of a friendly vibe, what's more of a romantic vibe. But I feel like with these two, it's like they have this really indescribable energy, whereas like sometimes they have this semi-romantic vibe and you're like, oh, but then sometimes it's like bestie vibe. I don't know, man. I genuinely don't know with these two.
この二人がまたひっつくっていうの面白いよね、なんか。
なんかこう受け取り側のテンションとか伝え方とかそのタイミング。
Yeah, I feel like Alan, like even though he is pretty fast, like I feel like he can change depending on like whoever he's with. Like he can match the energy with the other partner. You know what I mean? Like if he needs to slow down, he slows down. If he needs to speed up, he speeds. Like I think he can just mirror the other person. So I think that's why it does work well between them.
なんやろ、もっとこうゲスかったりとかする部分ももちろん恋愛リアリティの面白さでもあるけど、なんか本当に美しかったよね、なんか。
That's why I liked it, because there was no toxicity and shit. Except for Ikuo, but I'm not going to talk about him right now.
あ、もう嘘だらけの人生やった俺。
遅くないですよ。これから
まだ大丈夫です。
スタジオ出たらもう人生新しいの。
そうか。
そう。
Bro, uncle is me. I am uncle right now. Exact vibe. Okay, so that was the last episode of The Boyfriend, bro. End of an era, really. Like, obviously, we had the reunion and the interview and shit to watch still. So we got two more reactions on this. But yeah. This is end of an era. End of an era. Really is end of an era. Fucking hell. Yeah, so everything kind of ended how I suspected from last episode. Like Shun died, boom, gone. Told each other they loved each other. That was a bit of a something I wasn't really expecting. I thought that wouldn't happen yet, because it's still like they've only been dating for like a couple of weeks at this point. But it is what it is. They spent so much time together, so sure. Ryota leaves alone. I thought he would get rejected anyway. The only thing I was really surprised about was Kazu kind of accepting Alan's affections. Like he basically said yes, essentially. He basically said they're dating in a way. He said like, let's take it slow. But basically he held his hand and shit. I wouldn't say it was a full confirmation that they're going to date now, but like it was, you know, I feel like an acceptance at trying at least, you know what I mean? So I definitely think that the potential of them eventually dating is pretty high. But I don't know, we'll see. They could also just be those really, you know, those besties that like kiss, you know what I mean? You know, there's some best friends that are like so affectionate with each other that you think they're dating, but they're not actually dating. I could see that being their vibe as well. But yeah, really interesting stuff, bro. Such a good show, honestly. It was just such healthy communication all the way through. Like people might say, oh, Shun didn't have healthy communication, but he eventually did, you know? So I think just the way they all learn to communicate healthily is the biggest, like thing that I like about this show. Like even the ones that couldn't communicate as well as they could have near the end of the show, like the ones that started where they couldn't communicate well, learned to communicate as time progressed. Like obviously Shun's the biggest point in that kind of point. But also like Gensei was not really good at communication and communicating his feelings, but he slowly learned to do that by the time he left the green room, sorry. Just like overall, I feel like they all learned to communicate better and learn to accept their feelings and what they were feeling and being able to communicate those feelings. Like I think they really grew in that way. And I think they all grew in ways that allows them now to, I guess, live a more fulfilled life in a way. Like Taehyun, obviously the biggest one, he's kind of set to kind of come out to his parents now so he can live his truth, I guess, in his life now, because, you know, he's 34 and up until now he's kind of lived a half-life almost, where it's like a half-life in the way where he's had to keep up appearances because his parents or his family thinks he's straight. He's clearly not straight. And, you know, it's like, and it's even more of a half-life because he's gay, right? He's gay. He's not like bi or pan or anything. So like when you're bi and you're in the closet, or pan and you're in the closet, I think it's a bit easier to kind of navigate, and it's like you hide less of yourself. Obviously, you're still hiding a big portion of yourself. But like being gay is like you're actually hiding half or more than half of who you are, because like it's not just about being gay. It's about like, you know, being in relationships and talking with your friends and your family about the emotions you're feeling while in that relationship. Like it's even things like that he can't be completely honest with, but now he can be honest with himself and with the world around him because he's got the courage now to come out to people closest to him and shit like that. So I feel like Taeyeon's growth is probably one of the most important, just from a purely personal standpoint. And that might just be because Taeyeon is like my favorite person in the house. It's really a toss up between him and Shun. I don't know. I love those two so much. And it's interesting that I felt like out of everyone in the house, friendship wise, Taeyeon and Shun to me felt like they were the closest, especially with the farewell that they had. But yeah, this was a really good show, man. And I'm excited to get into like the reunion and the interview and stuff like that. And then I'm pretty sure after we do that, I'm going to be starting a new show, which we did a poll for. I think it's called The Devil Judge or something like that. That won the poll by, I wouldn't say won by a landslide. It won, I think, by like 5 to 10% more votes or something. We're going to be watching that. Okay, I do want to reiterate this. I actually want to talk about this. So you might have noticed I haven't been doing any K-pop stuff lately. I think it's been like 2 weeks. And the reason for that is I'm just kind of taking a break from K-pop content for now. And the reason is like I've kind of just been burnt out by just the fandoms of K-pop and just like and this is not all fans, but there's been a large enough portion. I'm just kind of like burnt out from, I'm just burnt out, man, from comments and the communities, and just like I'm burnt out from K-pop stuff right now. So I'm just taking a break from it for a bit. So I don't know for how long. Maybe it might be 2 weeks, might be 3 weeks. I don't know. I'm just taking a break from K-pop right now. And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to be reacting to like shows like this and K-dramas and stuff like that. But right now I'm just taking a break from that. I will get back to it soon, but yeah, I'm burnt out. Like I don't even want to consume K-pop content right now because it's just, I'm tired from it right now. So I'm just shelving that for a bit, and then we'll see what happens after that. Like obviously I'm going to get back to it eventually, but I'm not sure. It might be next month, might be a month after. I don't know. I'm just staying clear of it for now. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching. I've really enjoyed my reaction. But yeah, goodbye.